Hey everyone, today I'm sharing the incredibly powerful story of a man named Ronan. This is the journey of a soul who faced tremendous challenges, from grappling with identity to surviving a life-threatening experience. This life-altering moment became a turning point, leading to a profound discovery of purpose and strength in faith after encountering the brink of death. Trust me, this is a story you won't want to miss. Before we dive in, let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more inspiring stories. On that crisp October morning in Bend, Oregon, the conditions were ideal for a trail run. The bright blue sky and fresh, cool air felt like a perfect backdrop for what lay ahead. But for me, this race was about much more than just running. It was about raising funds for an organization dedicated to helping people with disabilities. This mission resonated deeply with me, making me feel like I was part of something truly significant. When I reached the starting area, I couldn't help but notice the diverse crowd. There were runners of all ages, including many people with physical challenges, all of them prepared to tackle the rugged trail ahead. Seeing them gather there, ready to push through their own limits, filled me with a profound sense of admiration. I turned to a nearby volunteer, a woman named Anna, and remarked, "This is really incredible, isn't it?" Her smile stretched wide, eyes glistening with pride as she replied, "Absolutely. Many of these athletes have faced tremendous obstacles, but nothing stops them from running today." As I began my warm-up routine, I spotted a young man with a prosthetic leg who was quietly adjusting his backpack. He seemed so composed, like this was just another day for him. I approached him, hoping to learn more. "Hey there, is this your first time on this trail?" I asked, trying to start a conversation. A faint smile crossed his face as he shyly responded, "Yes, it is. After a few surgeries and tons of physical therapy, I figured it was time to give it a shot. I'm Ronan." His determination struck a chord with me, and I placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Man, just being here makes you a winner. It's truly an honor to run with you." When the signal to start finally rang out, I felt a rush of adrenaline course through me. We took off together, soaking up the energy that filled the air. The first few miles were relatively easy, with the participants spread out along the path. I found it simple to keep pace at first, but soon the trail became more demanding. Steep inclines, rocky terrain, and the biting cold started to test my limits. Despite the growing fatigue, I reminded myself that this race was for a cause bigger than any individual runner. I kept focusing on the reason we were all there, and each step I took gained new significance. Little did I know, this exhilarating beginning was merely the prelude to a life-altering journey ahead. As we continued, the path became more challenging, but I felt uplifted by the spirit of those around me. As the initial excitement faded away, I became increasingly aware of the challenges ahead. Every step felt heavier, each meter pushing my body to its limits. The path was long and unforgiving, filled with steep climbs and rocky terrain. The air around me was turning colder, and I could hear my breath becoming more labored with each moment. Soon I found myself standing on the edge of a wide, icy river. There was no escape. I had to cross it. Taking a deep breath, I stepped into the frigid water, shock coursing through me as the cold bit into my skin. It felt almost like fire against my flesh. I tried to hurry, but each step felt like a drain on my energy. By the time I reached the other side, my legs were trembling, and the cold had settled deep in my bones. In the midst of trying to regain my pace, I realized my vision was blurring, and breathing was becoming a struggle. My mind urged me to push forward, but my body was screaming for a break. "Just a bit further," I murmured to myself, trying to cling to the idea that the end was near. Fatigue dulled my awareness of time, and my legs began to move almost on their own, as if I were no longer fully in control. Suddenly, an unsettling silence enveloped me. The vibrant sounds of fellow runners that had accompanied me vanished, leaving an eerie stillness in their place. In that moment, it hit me. My body was reaching its breaking point. My legs buckled, and I collapsed onto the damp trail. The ground cushioned my fall, but everything around me began to spin, a weakness enveloping me that I hadn't known before. I felt as if my body was shutting down, my breath slowed, and my vision faded to black. In that void, a deep stillness settled in. I sensed that something significant, something alarming was happening. It was a different kind of exhaustion, one that I had never encountered in any race or moment before. Lying there on the cold earth, I had no idea I was about to experience something far beyond my expectations. When I slipped into unconsciousness, I had this strange sensation, like I was suspended in a dreamlike state. At first, it felt like a deep, unyielding sleep, a complete shutdown of awareness. Then slowly, I started to feel myself waking up. I slowly blinked awake, and what met my gaze was utterly confusing. There I was, flat on the ground, completely still on the path. My skin looked ghostly pale, and my mouth hung open, as if I had just taken my last breath. Concerned faces began to gather around me, their expressions a mix of alarm and urgency. It was strange. I felt as though my senses were turned up to 11. Every whisper, every sound rang in my ears with startling clarity. "Is he breathing?" someone shouted frantically. "Does anyone have a phone? We need help now." Another voice, much calmer, called out for everyone to step aside. I felt like a bystander in my own life, watching this scene unfold but unable to engage. I tried to speak, hoped to move, but it was futile. I was stuck, merely observing the chaos. Suddenly, I could hear the distant wail of sirens. 2 paramedics arrived in a blur, quickly getting to work on my lifeless form. I saw them check my vitals and place an oxygen mask over my face. "His pulse is weak," one of them said, anxiety lacing their tone. "We need to transport him immediately." The more they hastened, the more I felt a tug pulling me away from all that was happening. It was a force I couldn't fight, and despite the dread settling in my gut, there was also an odd sense of tranquility nestled within me. What was occurring felt undeniably real, yet it was also strikingly dreamlike. I shuddered as if caught in the grip of a powerful force, pushing me even further from my physical form. In an instant, the chaos vanished, and all that surrounded me shifted into a profound darkness. It wasn't menacing, though. It felt like a void that wrapped around me, free from pain, sounds, or any physical sensations. I was adrift in a timeless expanse. Gradually, I sensed a presence, not a tangible figure, but an energy, intense yet comforting, engulfing me with warmth. I couldn't see, I could only feel that I wasn't alone in this dark space. Amid the quiet, a voice broke through, calm and steady, resonating within me in ways I couldn't explain. "Kian," it said, "you stand at a crossroads, a passage between realms. Your journey isn't finished yet. Before you head back, there's something crucial you should grasp." The voice I heard was powerful, yet filled with wisdom, and strangely, it didn't terrify me. It felt like each word was laden with significance, tugging at me to recognize a purpose larger than my own existence. For a fleeting moment, I thought perhaps I was beginning to grasp the essence of it all. But before I could truly reflect, the voice pressed on. "A significant revelation awaits you. It's not just about you, it touches everyone on this planet. Prepare yourself, because what I'm about to unveil will shift your perception of reality." My heart raced a mix of dread and intrigue. Deep inside, I sensed that this moment was pivotal, yet wrapping my head around what lay ahead was a challenge. As I floated in a void, a peculiar force began to draw me in more forcefully. It felt like I was spiraling into a vortex, caught in an invisible current that was impossible to resist. The sensation was both exhilarating and disorienting. Although I wasn't bound by my physical form anymore, apprehension about where this journey would lead me crept in. Time and space were distorted. They felt unlike anything I had previously encountered. Then, unexpectedly, the surrounding darkness cleared. I transitioned from the void into a shadowy, silent cavern. It didn't seem like a traditional cave. It was a solid yet ethereal space that felt dense. That's when the voice returned, now closer and more potent. It was as if it reached directly into my mind, penetrating every facet of my being. On November 5th, 2024, a pivotal moment will unfold. This marks the dawn of a transformation that will resonate through humanity. From that day forth, the world you know will begin to evolve, and those ready for spiritual growth must unite to confront challenges beyond the physical realm. Each word reverberated within me, etching itself into my consciousness. Curiosity gnawed at me, and I silently wondered, what will transpire on that day? I wasn't sure if anyone could hear my mental question. For a heartbeat, there was a quiet pause, as if the voice were considering my inquiry. Then, it responded with a profound depth that resonated through my being. Imagine a world on the brink of transformation. Changes are coming that will awaken a new level of awareness on our planet, and for that, we'll need both strength and compassion. This evolution, both physical and spiritual, will only resonate with those willing to embrace growth. I found myself in a moment of bewilderment, questions swirling in my mind. What do these changes signify? What events are on the horizon for humanity? As I searched for clarity, the voice guiding me chose not to elaborate further. Instead, it imparted a crucial message. You have an essential role to play, Keon. Your time here is anything but random. Go back and share your insights, for your perspective will help foster readiness in others for what lies ahead. Those words settled into my heart like a heavy stone, a weight of responsibility I hadn't anticipated. A part of me trembled with confusion and fear about what this all meant, yet another part felt a profound calling, an understanding that I was meant to guide others along this newly illuminated path. Then, out of the shadows, a warm, radiant presence enveloped me. This light poured in from every direction, filling the cave and wrapping me in an indescribable sense of peace. It was as if all my fears, worries, and uncertainties melted away in its warmth. The voice may have fallen silent, but its message echoed persistently within me. I realized that everything was about to change. A new mission awaited me, and November 5th, 2024 would signal the start of something monumental. The light grew more intense, drawing me into a realm where I felt there were more revelations waiting to unfold. Suddenly, the entire message clicked. I wasn't alone. An immense force, something beyond me, was orchestrating this journey and preparing me for lessons yet to be revealed. With a tranquil heart, I surrendered to the light, understanding that this adventure was far from finished. The radiance around me was unlike anything I could articulate. It was more than just a shining glow. It was a vibrant energy that penetrated me, connecting to the very essence of my being. In that moment, I embraced a level of peace I had never known before, a feeling of profound clarity and purpose. During this experience, I found myself surrounded by a sense of completeness that seemed to wipe away all my previous pain and suffering. As I stood there, it felt like I was merging with this incredible environment. Individuality faded away, and in its place, a new part of me began to emerge. The light beckoned me closer, yet with each step I took, I encountered an invisible barrier, a resistance that demanded more energy than I ever thought I had. Despite the struggle, there was an undeniable urge pushing me forward. It was as if I was being drawn in by a magnetic force, a feeling that this light held the answers to questions I didn't even know I had been asking throughout my life. Gradually, I made my way toward that light, and with each step, waves of love and tranquility enveloped me. It felt like the very essence of the universe embraced me, wrapping me in warmth and protection. In the midst of this journey, I recognized that even with the resistance, there was something guiding me along the path. It was a profound force, gentler yet stronger than anything I had ever experienced. As I moved ahead, images began flashing in my mind, as if the light was revealing pieces of a grand truth. I envisioned vast fields filled with joyful, smiling people, a realm where fear, pain, and resentment didn't exist. Everyone seemed interconnected, bound by something larger than themselves. This vision ignited a sense of hope and joy within me, and I couldn't help but smile, fully immersed in that moment. Before long, I sensed another presence surrounding me. It wasn't like any physical being. It was an energy that felt profoundly strong and inviting, as if another entity was sharing the space with me. This presence radiated peace like nothing I had known before, and I understood it was a benevolent force, one that cared for my well-being and nudged me toward deeper insight. As I approached the light even more, the earlier resistance melted away, almost as if I was finally being welcomed in. The feeling was beyond words. Deep inside, I felt I was on the brink of grasping something essential about existence itself. Suddenly, this presence spoke, not in words, but through a direct connection to my spirit. It conveyed that this was the ultimate sanctuary of peace, a sacred place shared only by those who earnestly seek with love. I had so many questions tumbling around in my mind, but in that state, I couldn't voice them. It was as if all the answers were already present, just waiting to be discovered. Inside me, I always had a hint of understanding, just waiting to be recalled. Thoughts and feelings started to bubble up, nudging me to find a balance with the world around me. Grasping what's real seems essential, doesn't it? That's when the truths start to unfold for those who are truly open to them. I found myself pondering what it meant to be ready for peace, and how I could share that love with the people in my life. Questions lingered in my mind, yet there was a sense that I wasn't meant to have all the answers right away. Instead, it felt like I was on the brink of a grand adventure, with so much more yet to uncover. In that moment, I was cloaked in a deep tranquility. It was as if all the struggles I had faced were soothed, and the unknown path ahead didn't seem daunting. Time felt irrelevant. I sensed an eternal connection to everyone and everything around me. Imagine being woven into a vast tapestry of love that links all beings. This feeling encouraged me to dig deeper, to seek out a profound insight hidden within the light that surrounded me. As I stepped closer to that warmth, what had felt like an elusive presence began to take shape. Despite the bright glow, I recognized a figure that struck a familiar chord in my heart. It was a presence like no other, Jesus. His aura radiated pure love and compassion, enveloping me in a peace that surpassed anything I had ever known. He greeted me with a calm, understanding smile, as if he knew every joy and sorrow I carried, every struggle and victory in my life. Words weren't necessary at first. His very essence communicated safety and acceptance that was utterly new to me. And then he spoke softly, his voice rich with an indescribable wisdom. "Kian," he began, and just hearing my name escape his lips, something within me settled. "You have done more than you realize. Every small act of kindness, every little moment where you reached out to others, these are the threads that weave our world together, even when they seem trivial." I listened in silence, absorbing every ounce of his message. It struck me in that moment that I had never truly pondered the significance of my own actions before, but standing in his presence, I recognized that those little gestures, like moments of generosity towards strangers, held weight far beyond what I had imagined. Imagine a conversation filled with warmth and understanding, where every word felt meaningful. Kian reflected on the journey he had taken, recognizing it wasn't only about physical toughness. He realized it symbolized something much deeper, a testament to his willingness to lend a hand and face challenges head-on. Each stride he made was more than just a step. It was a contribution to kindness and love. He was a part of a larger story, one that shaped the lives of those around him. As he processed this, tears began to well up in his eyes. With a voice barely above a whisper, he confessed, "But what about when I messed up? What about my failures?" Ronan, with a gentle smile, looked at him with an understanding that seemed to wrap around him like a warm blanket. "Kian, everyone stumbles sometimes. It's the lessons from those moments and our desire to grow that count. Remember, every decision you make carries weight. Always strive for the best." Those words struck a chord deep inside him. There was no blame or guilt. Instead, Ronan imparted a message of unconditional love and acceptance. Kian began to grasp an important truth. Spirituality isn't about being flawless, but about striving to improve, to contribute positively, even in the smallest ways. "Every kind act sends ripples of love into the universe," Ronan continued. "Every time you chose to lift someone's spirits or lend a hand to a stranger, those moments create lasting change, even if you don't notice it." Suddenly, Kian was transported through vivid memories, each one playing out like scenes from a film. He recalled a particular day when he offered assistance to a man who was homeless. It dawned on him that this seemingly simple gesture had led that man to seek new chances in life. Then, contrasting that memory was a moment of hurt he had unintentionally caused someone, a painful encounter he hadn't been fully aware of at the time. Each memory was crystal clear, yet Ronan's presence filled the air with gentle understanding rather than judgment. It was clear now. Mistakes hold lessons and opportunities for redemption. Kian saw the significance of every choice he made. Life wasn't just about going through the motions. It presented a constant chance to spread kindness and love. Each person he met and every situation he encountered offered a chance to make a positive mark on the world. Looking back at Ronan, Kian felt a renewed sense of purpose building within him, energizing him for the journey ahead. After my encounter with Jesus, everything shifted for me. I returned with the desire to embrace kindness in every situation. It dawned on me that genuine love and compassion were at the core of my purpose here on earth, something far more significant than I had ever thought. Imagine having a kind of clarity that allows you to see your own life and choices as a film reel. That's what happened next. Jesus guided me through vivid memories, revealing the footprint of each decision I'd made, good or bad, on the lives of those around me. It was both illuminating and humbling. One moment stood out in particular, a memory I had nearly forgotten. It was an ordinary day in a public square when I noticed a homeless man. There was something haunting about his vacant eyes, a reflection of the struggles he had faced. Normally, I might have hurried past without a second thought, but for some reason I felt compelled to stop and talk to him. I didn't just hand over a bit of cash. I offered him a few minutes of my time. I asked for his name and listened to his story. In that short exchange, his expression shifted. I could see a flicker of hope. Jesus showed me what unfolded after that day. My small act of kindness, which I had brushed off as inconsequential, became a seed of hope for him. He started looking for help, found temporary jobs, and eventually secured a place to stay. I had no idea a simple conversation could lead to such change. Next to Jesus, I absorbed the truth that every action reverberates through lives, even when we don't notice. With warmth in his gaze, Jesus explained, "Keon, it's these little acts, these choices to show compassion, that ripple outward like circles on still water. Each person touched by love is equipped to share it." I felt this wave of gratitude wash over me, realizing how profound the effects of simple gestures can be. But then, he also revealed the flip side. I was taken back to a less pleasant memory, an argument with a coworker that I wished I could erase. Our frustration with life had built up, leading to heated words that spilled out before I could stop them. At that moment, I hadn't thought about how my harsh words could hurt someone else. Through these reflections, I learned that our lives are interconnected, and every choice we make, whether kind or hurtful, shapes the world around us. Standing there, I really started to grasp how deeply our conversation had impacted him. Ronan seemed weighed down, almost as if he was grappling with doubts about his worth at work. Jesus simply watched him. While he didn't say a word, his eyes radiated empathy and understanding, steering clear of any judgment. In that moment, I realized my purpose wasn't to judge, but to recognize the responsibilities we all hold in our lives. Jesus, in his gentle way, wanted me to appreciate how our small gestures could make a big difference, whether for better or worse. He went on to remind me, "You're only human, Keon. Everyone slips up now and then. What truly counts is how you respond to those mistakes. Let compassion guide your every action and learn from what life throws at you." His wisdom resonated with me. Life is this incredible journey where we get to learn and grow. It's less about achieving perfection and more about embracing the willingness to improve and rectify our missteps. As I absorbed all this, I couldn't help but ask, still feeling the weight of my revelations, how can I amend my shortcomings? A soft smile crept onto Jesus' face as he responded, "Recognizing your responsibility is the first move. The second is making that choice to change. Each new day presents a chance to create something better and spread kindness. Moving forward, let your actions reflect this newfound awareness." With a loving and sincere look, he enlightened me about true redemption. It's rooted in our capacity to learn and shift our behaviors. I realized that when I returned to the world, I shouldn't just go through the motions of daily life. Instead, I needed to commit to spreading goodness and harmony in every interaction. That moment transformed my perspective. I knew carrying these lessons with me was essential in every word I spoke and every action I took, aiming always to be a beacon of compassion for those around me. As I absorbed the significance of my choices, an undeniable sense of peace enveloped me. Yet I still had a question lingering in my mind. Being in that sacred space with Jesus wasn't just about learning. It was a unique chance to explore long-standing questions. I embraced the quietness, gathered my humility, and asked the question that had been gnawing at me. Why do some people who have near-death experiences see divine figures, while others encounter angels or nothing at all? Is there a reason for this? Jesus met my gaze with a tender expression that encouraged me to consider the depths of my inquiry. Imagine a connection that transcends mere words. Kian seemed to grasp that my doubts were hints of a deeper search within me, a quest for purpose and meaning amid life's experiences. His response flowed like a soothing melody, resonating deep within my heart. Each soul, he shared, is unique, traveling its own distinct journey. Some people need a guiding hand to rediscover their purpose, while others seek signs of something greater than the material world. He explained that what a soul encounters during a near-death experience is shaped by its spiritual state and needs. As his words sank in, I found myself pondering. For years, I had held on to the belief that there was one absolute truth, one valid spiritual journey for everyone to follow. But in that moment, clarity washed over me. It dawned on me that spirituality is a personal affair. Each individual carves their own path based on their unique circumstances and internal struggles. Curiosity took hold, and I voiced a question that often plagued my mind. How do we figure out our purpose? Kian's smile was warm, infused with understanding. He explained that discovering purpose doesn't happen overnight, it unfolds gradually. By tuning into our hearts and instincts, we uncover insights. Many look outside for answers, but the reality is that they lie within. It's through compassion, love, and the commitment to embrace each day that we find our way. His words struck a chord within me. It became clear that it wasn't about zeroing in on a single answer. Instead, it was about remaining receptive to understanding my true self and what drives me. This journey isn't confined by rigid rules. It evolves with each choice I make to live with love and an eagerness to learn. Then I ventured to ask about a topic that has often intrigued me. What happens to those who seem lost, who can't find their light, or suffer so much that pain overshadows everything? Kian paused, closing his eyes for a moment, as if contemplating the complexity of my inquiry. When he spoke again, his tone was serene yet profound. No soul is ever truly lost, he assured me. Life offers countless opportunities for growth, and even when someone takes a wrong turn, the lessons continue. Each person's journey is unique, and pain can often be the catalyst that ignites their search for something deeper. None of us walks this path alone. There's always unseen support and guidance surrounding us. This revelation filled me with a deep sense of peace. Kian was illuminating the idea that compassion is the thread weaving us all together, reminding me that despite life's challenges, there is hope and connection at every turn. Imagine being in a serene moment where you feel a profound connection to something greater. It was there that I came to understand that every soul has a chance for redemption and can find their way back to the light as long as they're open to it. Jesus guided me through this realization, showing me that spirituality is a personal journey, something unique to each individual. It's not a rigid framework imposed upon us, but rather a path we construct ourselves through daily choices rooted in love and kindness. Feeling a weight lift off my chest, I recognized that my life's purpose wasn't some elusive secret to uncover. Instead, it's about living fully and intentionally, step by step, all while being open to learning. In that moment, beside Jesus, it became clear that this sense of purpose is a continuous evolution of self-discovery and growth. Each one of us plays a vital part in the universe, defined by the choices we make and the love we extend to others. As I reflected on these insights, another pressing topic emerged in my mind: abortion. It's a complex subject that often comes laden with confusion and differing opinions. I hesitated momentarily, but in that peaceful space, I felt compelled to reach out for understanding. Jesus, I found myself saying, I want to grasp the truth about life, its value, its purpose. What can you tell me about abortion? Jesus met my question with compassion, and a deep silence enveloped us, almost as if he wanted to give me a moment to brace myself for what was to come. When he finally spoke, his words came wrapped in love and understanding that resonated deeply within me. Life, Ronan, is a sacred gift, he explained. With every soul entering this world, there is a purpose, a chance for growth. From the instant of conception, a journey begins, a journey not just of the body, but of the spirit. The essence of life is sacred, and every challenge, joy, and sorrow contributes to shaping our souls for something greater. His serene words made me ponder the miracle of existence. I began to see every moment, every heartbeat differently. Deep down, I had always sensed the preciousness of life, but hearing this from Jesus brought a clarity I had never fully grasped before. Then Jesus expanded on the topic, sharing that abortion is, at its core, a choice that resonates deeply within the spirit. It's a complex and often painful decision that carries significant weight. There's this idea that sometimes we get caught up in judgment, but really what we need is compassion. Every situation we encounter is different. We all have moments when we crave understanding rather than condemnation. When I learned that Jesus wasn't there to enforce harsh judgments, but to provide love and respect for the intricacies of our choices, a wave of relief washed over me. It made me realize life is filled with uncertainties, and often we find ourselves in tough spots, each of us carrying burdens we might not even fully grasp. I was curious, so I asked about those who make certain decisions, hesitantly wondering how that impacts their journey or their potential souls. Jesus looked at me with such kindness, and he gently explained that every decision we make does come with consequences, but that doesn't mean life stops. A soul that hasn't had a chance to be born doesn't just vanish. Instead, it rejoins the cycle of creation, ready for new chances. Plus, those who face tough choices have valuable opportunities for growth and learning that stem from those times. He emphasized that love and compassion are at the heart of everything. Redemption and healing are always within reach. Hearing this really struck a chord with me. It was as if I was seeing the universe in a whole new light, one filled with boundless compassion I never expected. Every soul is precious, and the possibilities for growth are infinite, even in the face of hard decisions. Jesus continued, stressing the importance of loving and supporting life in every form. He urged us to approach life responsibly and to embrace every soul that arrives in the world. Each of these souls brings unique opportunities to learn, grow, and contribute to our universe. Life, he said, is both a gift and a responsibility. With those words, I began to grasp the sanctity of life a bit better. Every individual soul holds a purpose, and love is essential in navigating the choices we face along the way. Ultimately, it's not about judgment or condemnation. Instead, it's about empathy, understanding, and honoring the depth of each person's journey. By the end of this revelation, I was left with a profound respect for life and the sacred nature of each moment. Jesus helped me realize that life is indeed a precious gift. Our mission is to embrace it wholeheartedly, leading with love and a sense of responsibility, always aiming to learn and grow from our experiences. As I stood there, something remarkable began to unfold. The light surrounding Ronan seemed to stretch and envelop me, beckoning me to take a step toward a higher plane. It felt as though I was being guided into a realm where the very essence of paradise would soon be unveiled. Suddenly, I found myself in a breathtaking landscape that words could hardly capture. Imagine a vast, vibrant valley surrounded by mountains, their soft emerald glow illuminating the scene. In front of me, lush grass rolled endlessly, creating a serene carpet beneath my feet, while the distant sound of a crystal-clear waterfall played a soothing melody. The air was infused with a divine fragrance, a delightful blend reminiscent of flowers yet touched by something ethereal that I couldn't quite grasp. All around me, I sensed the joyful energy of other souls. Children were running about, laughter echoing like music, their happiness infectious. Men and women of every age radiated an unshakable serenity, as if worries were a distant memory. Time itself seemed irrelevant here. Every moment felt infinite, suspended in a blissful eternity. As I wandered through this splendid valley, a profound peace enveloped me. It was as if the burdens I'd carried throughout my life had simply vanished. I felt light, like an essence of pure love and joy. Standing beside me was Keon, who observed the beauty around us with a gentle expression. It was clear he understood the significance of this vision, an affirmation of the grandeur of existence and our sacred purpose. "This is paradise, Ronan," he said, as if reading the thoughts racing through my mind. "Here, separation and suffering hold no sway. Each soul exists in perfect harmony, united by love and peace." Gratitude welled up inside me, and I couldn't help but smile as I took in the stunning landscapes around me. "It's beautiful," I murmured, almost afraid to disturb the tranquility that enveloped us. I had never imagined such perfection was possible. Keon nodded, a warm smile on his face. This is the fate that awaits all souls, but for many, the road to such a place is paved with lessons and experiences. It's a journey of growth, where each soul discovers true love within and learns to embrace it. He then gestured toward a group of souls meditating deeply, as if they were in the process of absorbing profound universal wisdom. As I took in the scene around me, I felt a profound sense of completeness. The souls gathered there radiated a connection I had never witnessed before, an energy that seemed beyond any human comprehension. It became clear to me that the love they shared was the very essence sustaining this beautiful place, allowing every spirit there to resonate in perfect harmony with the universe. Kian, who had been guiding me, encouraged me to venture further. We walked toward a stunning sight, a city that appeared to float in the air, crafted from light and breathtakingly beautiful structures. This ethereal place challenged everything I thought I knew about architecture. It had a lightness to it, as though the very air cradled each building gently. This is the dwelling of souls who have completed their journey of evolution, Kian explained. Here they exist in peace and unity, embodying divine love in its purest form. Standing before that city, a profound reverence washed over me. The idea of paradise transformed in my mind. It wasn't merely a location, but a deep state of the soul, a true connection with love and kindness that renders us whole. With one last glance at the valley and the luminous city, I sensed my time there was drawing to a close. I understood in that moment the immeasurable gift I had been given, a glimpse into what awaits every soul willing to follow the path of love and spiritual growth. Then Kian spoke again, his words resonant and heartfelt. Take this vision with you, Ronan. Share it with those who long for peace. Show them that love holds the key to healing all suffering, and that this place is a future we can build together, step by step, through our choices for compassion. A warm glow enveloped my heart, radiating from Kian to me and filling my entire being. Deep down, I knew this experience would remain etched in my memory forever. When I returned, I would carry this vision of peace and beauty to guide not only my own path, but also assist others in finding theirs. Following that vision of paradise and Kian's final words, I felt a complex blend of gratitude and yearning unfurling within me. Though the tranquility of that place was beyond description, I sensed a gentle force tugging me back, a force that, in a sense, felt like home. As I began to feel reality creeping back in, a mix of sadness and heaviness settled over me. It was strange. I had just been in a place where everything made sense, a realm filled with pure love, the kind you only dream of. I could almost hear a gentle voice, almost like it was echoing in my heart, reminding me, Kian, your journey isn't finished. Come back and spread the light you've found for those still searching. Yet around me, the brilliant light began to dim, and I noticed a kind of weight taking over, pulling me back to where I'd come from. The vibrant sensations I enjoyed were replaced by a shiver cutting through my skin, a stark reminder that I was in the physical world again. Each muscle in my body seemed to awaken from a slumber, each cell realigning as if they knew what was about to happen. When I finally opened my eyes, the first thing I saw was a flurry of concerned faces surrounding me. I was on a stretcher in an ambulance. A paramedic looked at me with a blend of surprise and relief. "Hey, you're back," he remarked, as if taking a breath he didn't realize he was holding. We were worried for a moment, thought we wouldn't be able to bring him back. I wanted to respond, but my voice barely made it out. It felt muted and distant. It was as though I had just walked away from a fierce battle, my limbs heavy and tired. With every moment that passed, the warmth of that heavenly place began to fade, yet something else remained in its place, a deep, unwavering peace in my heart. It felt as though that love had printed itself onto my very being. As the ambulance jolted back into motion, I squeezed my eyes shut and drifted back to those vivid visions of the landscapes I had seen under Jesus' guidance. That valley, the suspended city, everything was still so clear, and the radiant energy from each soul was forever etched in my mind. I realized that no matter how much I separated from that ethereal experience, I would never return to who I was before. One of the medics saw the emotions flooding my face and gently asked, "Do you want to share what happened?" I just smiled, grappling for the words amidst the profound depth of my experience. I understood deep down that this encounter was significant, something that would take time for me to process fully. But one thing was certain: I had a duty to share what I had learned. As I rolled back into town, a wave of gratitude enveloped me. I was alive, not just breathing, but given a fresh opportunity to see life differently. A new purpose sparked within me, reminding me to embrace each day with the goal of spreading kindness and love. I understood that true paradise isn't some distant dream. It's rooted in the small gestures we make in the present. Upon my arrival at the hospital, while they settled me into the recovery room, I couldn't shake the feeling of Jesus' last words echoing in my mind. My heart brimmed with appreciation for this second chance, a clear mission now guiding me to share light and compassion with others. In that moment, I committed myself to a promise. Despite any hardships that might lie ahead, I would adhere to the lessons I learned. My life would revolve around the belief that love and compassion pave the way to genuine peace. From that point forward, every step I took would reflect that purpose. After I got better, each day transformed into a series of valuable moments for reflection. Mornings felt like the opening of a new narrative, filled with the vibrations of my profound experience, shaping me anew. Everything surrounding me seemed imbued with fresh significance. The trees swayed differently, the sky appeared brighter, and the smiles of strangers were like golden threads weaved into my tapestry of life. Each little detail served as a reminder of that blissful place of love I had encountered. One of the most noticeable changes in me was how I began to view others. In the past, I would hurry past people, laser-focused on my to-do list, often ignoring those fleeting moments that now felt significant. Each person I encountered turned into a treasure, an invitation to connect meaningfully. I recognized that the richness of life lies in these interactions, in those seemingly insignificant exchanges of kindness. Then one day, I unexpectedly bumped into an old friend, a familiar face I hadn't seen in ages. As we chatted, he shared some of his personal struggles. Listening to him, I found myself filled with an empathy that hadn't been there before. His pain resonated within me, and I recalled Jesus' teachings about the importance of compassion and accepting one another without judgment. In that instant, I simply placed my hand on his shoulder, gazed into his eyes, and assured him he wasn't alone. We all wrestle with our own battles, I told him, and I would always be there for him, ready to offer my support whenever he needed it. Reflecting on my journey, I often think about how an emotional smile and a simple wave of gratitude from someone made me realize that I had made a difference, even if it was just a small one. It felt like I was living out a mission to share the love and understanding that life had bestowed upon me over the years. My experience with loss became a guiding light, influencing decisions and reminding me that the world around us mirrors our actions. In a way, it was like being shown a heavenly truth. The peace we seek in the world must first be nurtured within ourselves, and I took it upon myself to spread that tranquility to others. My young son, merely a few years old back then, was growing up in this new atmosphere of love and understanding that I was trying to create for him. It was important to me to teach him compassion in simple ways. As he matured, I could see the questions bubbling up in his eyes. Whenever he asked me about the changes in me, I would share that life presents us with unique lessons, urging us to embrace gratitude and grow from every experience. As the years passed, this transformative experience laid the groundwork for my spiritual journey. I dove into studying ancient philosophies and connected with others who were also on a quest for meaning. Joining spiritual support groups was eye-opening. It confirmed that I wasn't navigating this journey alone. Many others were also seeking love, connection, and peace. Today, when I look back, I feel immense gratitude for what once seemed like a daunting and puzzling chapter in my life. My encounter with the divine, particularly that moment in paradise and my meeting with Christ, wasn't just a fleeting vision. It was a call to embrace life with authenticity. The reminder that love is our ultimate purpose continues to resonate deeply with me. Every year, on the anniversary of my awakening, the day I return from hovering at the edge of death, I take a moment to pause, reflect, and give thanks. It's a chance for me to reaffirm my commitment to living by the lessons I've learned. I strive to maintain an open heart, knowing that each small act, each choice driven by love, allows me to fulfill that mission I felt that day. This journey has thoroughly shaped who I am, and as long as I breathe, I will carry forward the mission of being a beacon of light and kindness. I remind others that true paradise starts with the loving choices we make, moment by moment.